Hey guys, it's Charlie. I want to talk a little bit about the Congress of this country, the House of Representatives. For this part, the bill is now in the Senate. The House of Representatives today, 348 to 79, voted to label China as a currency manipulator. To say they're a currency manipulator is blatantly obvious. They have been forever. They're a communist nation. They don't let their currency float with the rest of the fictitious fantasy Central Reserve issued fiat currencies around the world. And it's been done for a very simple reason, to enslave the largest populations of the world to make a bunch of garbage that we will turn around and buy and make more profit for the companies on Wall Street that finance these industries, that finance the dismantling of our manufacturing base and ship it overseas. They're making tons of money for the last 40 years, about the same amount of time many of the powerful congressmen in Congress have been there, 20 plus terms. And now, because we're in an election cycle, now because the spark in this consumer-based economy is fizzling and dying before our very eyes, they have the nerve to come out before the cameras and say, China is a currency manipulator, and you're supposed to worship their boots for protecting the American worker. Let me tell you what's going to happen in a Walmart in this country. Two things are going to happen. One, the workers who are working there for $18,000 a year, their wages are going down. All you got to do is look at the U.S. Census and you will see wages are on the decrease. Two, the prices of the things in Walmart, the cheap garbage we're addicted to, well, guess what's going to happen when the Senate passes their version of this bill and they write it into law and we label those evil Chinese as currency manipulators. We're going to start slapping tariffs on the imported garbage that we put into our Walmarts, and the prices are going to double, triple, quadruple. Who knows? We're already seeing a mass increase in food prices. What's going to happen when everything, textiles, and then the other garbage we buy from Walmart starts doubling and tripling? The people who work there aren't going to be able to shop there, and the household incomes of the nation, who are falling year after year, are not going to be able to shop there. It's a matter of equilibrium. I've been saying it for a long time. The rest of the world, the slave labor of the world we've been using to keep this consumer-based economy rolling for the last multiple decades, their standard of living isn't going up. Ours is coming down, plain and simple. Our representatives want to call China currency manipulators, yet in this election cycle, none of them want to point the finger at the real currency manipulator. How about the Federal Reserve? How about the Federal Reserve, that we get to pay interest on every note that they issue on behalf of the American people? The same currency manipulating Federal Reserve who decides who's too big to fail and how the rest of the nation can pay for their sin. Let's label them a currency manipulator, because truly, by definition, they decide how much of it's coming into the economy, who's going to get it, who's not going to get it, who's going to get it for nothing, and who's going to get screwed down the road paying for the sins of other people. They're the true manipulators. And finally, people like Ambrose Evan Pritchard, a reporter for The Telegraph, who was for stimulus a while back, is waking up to the reality. I'm going to read a paragraph from his latest article. I apologize to the readers around the world for having defended the emergency stimulus policies of the U.S. Federal Reserve, and for arguing like an imbecile that the Fed would not succumb to the drug addiction, political abuse, or mad intoxicating debauchery once it began taking its first shots of quantitative easing. My pathetic assumption was that Ben Bernanke would deploy further quantitative easing only to stave off deflation, not create inflation. If the Federal Open Market Committee cannot see the difference, God help America. I'll attach the rest of this article with this video. The true currency manipulators are in Washington, D.C. Everything else you're hearing is jargon to get people reelected and smoke and mirrors. Period. End of story. Stories are attached. That's all I got.